Hello and welcome back to the channel. The manhwa we are going to recap today is about a girl who awakens her powers as the legendary hotelier. So let's begin our recap. Hotel Dungeon. Wohyun is one of the first 5 class hunters. He awakens when he is still in high school. His aunt and uncle sign a contract with the White Tiger Guild on his behalf. His uncle tells him that it is just a B-scale dungeon, so he will be fine, and on top of that, he needs to start practicing. Their money-loving eyes reveal their only wish, that he will bring them fortune. To them, Wohyun is nothing but a source of income. They do not care that he is only 19 years old, or that many hunters die in B-grade dungeons. They do not seem to consider how his parents died. No, perhaps they even wish that he will die in the dungeon too, just like his parents. But to him, it no longer matters. After awakening, he feels his powers have increased, and for some reason, he knows he is not going to die so soon. And even if he does die, he won't care. Rather than dying in front of his violent, drunk uncle and his aunt who blames him for all her misfortunes, he would much rather enter the dungeon. The scene shifts to his class. The teacher is praising him, saying that Wohyun has signed with the White Tiger Guild and that everyone should congratulate him. They even bring out a cake, happy to see that he is finally going to become a hunter. They are all smiles, wishing that he won't forget them after becoming famous. One of the calmest students asks Jeong to say something, as her father is the famous hunter Semyeong. Wohyun seems to remember her name Jeong because she is quite well known. Her father is one of the earliest S-rank hunters and is treated as a national hero. But Wohyun doesn't want to remember her name, because he has vowed to throw everything away before entering the dungeon. Even after becoming an S-class hunter, he gets rid of all the things that belong to his parents. He thinks that if those items remain, he won't be able to enter the dungeon, that he would want his normal life back. He also hears that Jeong lost all interest in hunters after what happened to her father, so she probably wouldn't care to know that he has become one too. But he is angry too. Just in that moment, Jeong looks back at him, making his eyes widen. Her words strike him deeply. Everyone starts murmuring, confused about what she has just said. She gets up and dashes out of the room. At that moment, Wohyun already knows that her words will stay with him for a long time. Don't die. That is the first thought he holds on to while slashing through the monsters. It remains unchanged to this day. He is bleeding a lot. If only he hadn't gotten caught in that trap. He had told his team members to stay on their toes, but it was his own foot that lost balance and made him fall into the pit. He has finished all his food, potions, and water. Normally, he would have been able to last for at least a week. But because of the wound he received from the dragon, his stamina is weakening. Just breathing is draining him. But Jeong's words strike him again. Don't die. He thinks that this time, he won't be able to keep that determination. If he is being honest with himself, he really wants to give up. He wants to rest. He closes his eyes to take a little break. Just then, he sees light. He wonders if it is some kind of exit. He hesitates, walks toward it. As he reaches, he sees a hotel. He is stunned. What the hell is going on? None of this makes sense at all. But he does recall hearing from his hunter mates that there is a hotel in the middle of the dungeon, and if they ever see it, they better go inside. He remembers that the hunter was smiling when they mentioned it, and wonders if this is some kind of trap. But it is better than dying here. Wohyun enters the hotel. Inside, the hotelier welcomes him to the Jeonghyo Hotel. But something feels off. Wohyun recognizes her. He is shocked. What is Jeong doing here? We see that at grave, Jeong lays down a flower. She remarks that it seems like he hasn't shaved in ages and that it has been quite a while since she last came to visit him. 20 years ago, the great calamity occurred. Monsters poured out of the dungeons and appeared all over the world. Countless people lost their lives, and even those with potential lived in fear. Some even claimed that Judgment Day had arrived. That was when the hunters appeared. They gained their powers through awakening and gradually brought the world back to how it was. At that time, hunters were seen as heroes, and they all looked up to Semyeong, Jeong's father. Her dad was basically a national hero, though he would often joke about his job. He used to tell her that she should become a simple office worker, but she thought being a hunter was far more exciting. She was really proud of her dad, who would appear on television in such a cool way. But when she was 12 years old, her father entered a dungeon and never came back. After that, she lost her dad. Min Hyuk took her in. When she turned 20 and decided to become independent, it hit her she was truly alone. Min-hyuk also gave her a card that held her father's savings, even though it was enough to cover her college tuition, get a small apartment, and live without discomfort. She couldn't bring herself to squander it. Every time she heard about another hunter's death, read an article about another place turning into a death zone because of monsters, she was reminded of the cost of her father's life. Her father's friends tried to run many tests on her, thinking she might carry hunter blood. She used to think it was unfortunate that she didn't awaken, but in truth, she was happy because she hated hunters and dungeons. They had stolen her dad from her. Now, she is an office worker doing a regular 9-to-5 job. The company she joined isn't that great, but she is glad that she is able to earn her own money. She used to think that everything would work out as long as she tried her best. But now, she is completely pissed. She is planning to quit her job. She rants to her dad that she worked her ass off, but the proposal she created was only stolen by the higher-ups, who made weird changes and claimed it as theirs. She sighs, admitting that she really didn't want to rely on the money he left for her. But now she has no choice. She needs to use that money. Her father once told her that he wanted to see a quiet beach with a great view. That memory makes her sad, because now, she wants to see it too. She's going to open a cafe at the beach. After all, she has worked at a cafe for 6 years. She even got her barista certificate. She's going to avoid dungeons as much as possible, and he doesn't need to worry about her. She's going to live a good life. She sniffs, declaring that she's going to do it all on her own, so he better watch over her from above as she lives. Just then, she gets a call from her father's old friend asking her where the hell she's thinking of going. Leaving behind her home in Seoul, she tells him to calm down, that the place she's going to only has a population of 2,000. She says they can talk later since she has to catch a bus right now. 36-2. Yongshin, Ganju. After searching long enough, she finds out that her father once came here. She thinks that this is the place where unexpected dungeons have popped up ever since the calamity. She likes the mountain part the most. There's even a motel that has gone down in value, and if one takes 30 steps, they can reach the beach. This is the place her father talked about. Even the motel's owner says she made the right choice after all. A fortune teller once said this site is going to flourish soon. She smells the sea breeze and smiles. She has bought the building. Now, she just has to maintain it and turn it into the cafe. She will need to remodel it. She does have the money to repair it, since she got it at a very low price, but it will still take her at least a month. Then she hears the sound of a dog. It's a golden retriever. She crouches down and pats it, thinking that it must have run away from home, since its fur looks so clean. She tells him that he should go home, his family must be waiting for him. She decides to get in touch with interior design companies and work on the cafe menu later. For now, she's planning to go inside and order some food. She reaches the door to enter and starts thinking about a lot of things while she eats. But before that, the dog enters the hotel. As she enters the hotel too, the system suddenly pops a notification. She has awakened. As the hotelier, she stands frozen, thinking what the hell is going on. She was going to be a cafe owner, not a hotelier. She wonders if that means she's going to become a hunter now. Except for special circumstances, hunters usually awaken at the age of 20. The last time she took the test was when she was 22. So how the hell is she awakening now? She's completely confused. She opens the status window and sees that her class is hotelier. She didn't even know a class like this existed. Clearly annoyed, she lets out a sigh. But what annoys her the most is her stats. Even F-rank awakeners have better stats than this. The hidden class usually comes with great stats, yet she can't believe she got such trashy ones. She looks at the dog and wonders if she can talk to her father's friend about this, but then thinks it's not worth the trouble. If she tells him, she'll have to go through the whole ordeal again. Just then, the system pops up with a message stating that the remaining time to open the hotel is 50 minutes. She panics. She never agreed to any of this. Does this mean she's supposed to open the hotel at 6? But her hotel is as filthy as a gutter. Who in their right mind would want to stay in a place like this? She decides to ignore it for now. Either the system is spewing nonsense, or she herself has lost her mind. Her first decision is to leave this place and live somewhere else for the time being. If the status window keeps popping up, only then will she contact her dad's friend. But her plan is suddenly disrupted when the status window pops up again, startling her. She's really angry now. Why can't it just show everything at once instead of appearing at random times? She sees that the system is now telling her to wake up the bellboy. Suddenly, a golden light appears, and a man greets her. He asks which language she prefers. She grows extremely nervous. What is even going on right now? Seeing her in this state, the bellboy tries to calm her down. But Jeong gasps, realizing that since he appeared after the status window, he must be a monster. She starts to back away, telling him to stay away from her. She falls to the floor, which only makes him more worried. She continues to warn him not to come any closer. The bellboy becomes teary-eyed because of this, assuring her that he won't approach and that he just wants to make sure she's okay. She sighs inwardly, complaining to her dad in her mind about what she's supposed to do in this kind of situation, especially when a very pretty man keeps calling her miss. The system then tells her that if she cleans the rooms with the bellboy, she'll receive 100 gold coins, but she still hasn't let her guard down around this man. Finally, she learns that he is not a monster but the hotel's spirit. He says this with a bright smile, but she doesn't believe a word. There's no way he's telling the truth. He must be a lying monster. The poor bellboy panics, insisting that he's telling the truth. He explains that times have changed, and now he's not only the spirit of water and fire but also the spirit of service. She still doesn't believe him and tries to hit him on the head, warning him not to try fooling her. He cries, saying she can find out for herself after completing a quest with him whether he's a monster or not. She checks the quest and sees the bellboy's name written there. He waves cheerfully, confirming that yes, it really is him. To her, he honestly seems like the golden retriever that followed her here. But since he's cute, she decides to give him a chance. After all, if she cleans the room, she'll get 100 market gold. Market gold is the currency that hunters use to purchase items from system stores. Hunters can buy and sell various things there, including monster byproducts. They can also convert market gold into real-world currency. From what she knows, 1 gold coin is worth about $10, which is roughly 10,000 won. So 100 gold coins would be worth about 1 million won. She can't believe she's going to earn that much just by cleaning. With that money, she'll be able to cover all the interior renovation costs. She's already spent a lot. After all, she asks the bellboy if he can speak Korean. He starts chattering away, claiming to know 25 languages and how he can fluently speak them all. Jeong waves him off, telling him that's enough for now. She decides that they should just begin the cleaning process so she can figure out whether she's truly awakened or simply been possessed by a ghost. He prepares the cleaning supplies and gets ready to take her to the second floor. She wonders how he's going to carry everything up there. But he lifts the entire cleaning cart by himself and tells her to leave everything to him. As he walks up the stairs, he seems almost too excited, like he's been waiting for this moment for a long time. But no matter how much she thinks about it, she finds it really weird. Is there really an employee out there who gets excited on opening day? The bellboy explains that the rooms on the 3rd and 4th floors have the same layout and that they should start with room 201. She opens the curtains, and a memory comes to her father saying he wants to live with her by the beach. The bellboy remarks that the view is amazing, and she sighs, brushing it off. They need to focus on finishing the work. However, now that she has seen the room, she realizes she'll have to clean rooms like this one 6 times. It'll easily take her a week. Maybe she should just give up. The bellboy asks her if she received any skill when she awakened. She's confused for a moment before he tells her to check the skill section in her status window. She opens the window and sees that she indeed has a housekeeping skill. It's a bit embarrassing to call out a skill with such a name, but she goes for it anyway. The moment she activates it, the entire room is cleaned in an instant. She stands there in shock, unable to believe what just happened. This skill doesn't just speed up the cleaning process, she didn't even have to lift a finger. The effects are nothing short of amazing. She still can't believe it. The bellboy looks absolutely delighted that she received such an outstanding skill and suggests she should use it for her guests. She sighs at the word talent, thinking that she has none. All she ever wanted was to live a simple life. She's genuinely relieved that it's not a combat skill. This kind of ability is far more useful in practical ways. She finds herself smiling, realizing that with this skill, she might be able to clean her father's old colleague's room. That way, they might recover faster. The bellboy gets visibly excited seeing her smile, but she quickly stiffens up, denying that she smiled at all. Still, she thinks it's actually a good thing to have an automatic hotel system. Maybe instead of running a cafe, she should consider running a hotel instead. The bellboy, of course, gets overly excited at that thought, declaring that they should run the hotel together forever. Jeong immediately thinks he's getting way ahead of himself. Who invited him into this scenario? And why would she even need an employee when she can clean everything by herself? She says they should now head back to the project room. Meanwhile, the bellboy is quietly sniffing, thinking she really is a scary person. She continues cleaning the rooms using her skill, but now she's thoroughly exhausted. With just one room left to go, she asks the bellboy if there's anything to drink, and he tells her they've got instant coffee. That makes her pause. How the hell does a spirit even know about instant coffee? Still, she says she'd like some. She drops to the floor, drained of all energy, thinking about how mana consumption supposedly leaves others completely exhausted. She now understands what that feels like. She has absolutely no energy left. The bellboy returns with the drink much faster than expected, surprising her. He hands her the cup, saying this is the level of care she can expect from him. His eyes grow watery as he asks if she'll let him work for her, adding that he's very useful and can do anything she asks. She asks him what his salary expectations are, and he replies that as a spirit, he doesn't need to be paid. That makes her pause. Oh right, she had almost forgotten about that. Still, she wonders if she might get reported to the Ministry of Emoluments and Labor for this sort of thing. As she sips the coffee, she thinks it tastes delicious. Maybe he is a spirit, but he sure knows exactly how much water to add. The system pops up with a message saying her mana has been restored. The bellboy gets all excited again, insisting that he told her he was useful. Now that she feels re-energized, she has to admit he really is useful. The bellboy asks if she'll let him work for her now, and although she still tries to act tough, she says she'll think about it. He's already beyond excited just from getting a chance. She sighs, repeating that she'll think about it. Then, using her skill one final time, they manage to finish the tutorial. Now it's time for her reward. As promised, she receives a deposit of 100 gold coins. She needs to transfer it to her bank, and feeling a bit nervous, she checks. Sure enough, she receives 1,000,001. She can't believe it. She didn't even go on a raid or enter a dungeon, and yet she's managed to earn this much. She's genuinely happy. It feels like a dream come true. She also receives a hidden skill. Curious, she tries it out, thinking that maybe she might even receive an S-rank title at this rate. At this point, she doesn't even care what kind of skill it is, but she's hoping it's something more useful than housekeeping. Perhaps something for her cafe, something like an easy front desk function for making reservations. The bellboy gets excited again, but Jeong is completely annoyed. Why is she only getting these useless skills? The bellboy tries to explain that this place is designed to give guests a feeling of home after a long journey. But she cuts him off, shouting if he's gone completely mad, who would even come to this tiny town. He tells her that either way, she needs to go to the front desk now because only 5 minutes are left before the hotel opens. She checks the time and realizes it really did fly by. She's not even sure if anyone is going to show up, but now that she has these skills, she feels like she's stuck in some kind of hotel management game. She groans. First, she needs to talk to her dad's friend. He must know something about this. She needs to find out if anyone before her ever awakened with the hotelier class. She dials his number, but just as the call connects, she gets a notification saying there are only 5 seconds left. She starts running toward the front desk while her dad's friend yells at her, asking where the hell she is. She ends the call mid-run, shouting that she'll talk to him later. She can see that he's really worried, but she can't deal with that right now. As she reaches the front, she suddenly notices a revolving door. She stops in her tracks, wondering if that door was always there. But before she can make sense of it, she sees it opening, and behind it is a random dungeon. She chokes on her breath. Are random monsters going to come through too? All her past memories start flooding back, and she thinks to herself that there's no way she's going through that again, not even for 2,000 gold. She absolutely hates dungeons. She steps out the door and sees that the entire area around her is barren. Now she stands still, looking around, completely lost, wondering where the hell is she? She sees the monster. The monster runs towards her, but she swiftly dodges it. Then she curses the damn window. Why couldn't it have warned her about something like this earlier? She starts sprinting toward the hotel, and just as the monster is about to reach her, she dives inside, finally safe. The bellboy immediately asks her where she had been, saying he had been looking for her everywhere. Without hesitation, she grabs him by the collar and begins cursing, accusing them of being scammers. How dare they not tell her that the building is attached to a dungeon? She demands they return her YOLO life and all the money she invested in this establishment. He calmly makes it clear to her that the door is only randomly linked to dungeons, and the monster cannot enter the hotel premises. He also mentions that they are in Yeongchun. She blinks at this and asks if he means the door is attached to the dungeon while they remain physically located in Yeongchun. He confirms this, saying it is exactly the case. She mutters that while this is all good to know, the guests who appear here will be from the dungeon and that could mean dangerous people. At that moment, a girl arrives at the hotel, looking confused and muttering how a place like this could even exist inside a dungeon. Jeong is shocked to see a hunter standing right there. The hunter asks her where she is, and the bellboy quickly whispers to Jeong that she needs to use her front desk skill. Jeong thinks about it, it's supposed to be an auto skill, right? She decides to give it a try, thinking it might help her manage this unexpected situation. Suddenly, as if possessed by professionalism, she uses her front desk skill and greets the hunter with elegance and grace, welcoming her warmly to their hotel. Poor Jeong really wants to run away deep inside, but the skill won't let her. The hunter then asks if this is really a hotel, and Jeong, now sounding like a complete expert, confidently says that it absolutely is and the price per night is 150 gold. Jeong has no control over what she is saying. She internally wonders how on earth any sane person would pay this much for such a tiny hotel. But shockingly, the hunter finds this perfectly acceptable and says she's all in to take a room here. The hunter then asks if they have beds. Jeong regretfully informs her that since they've just opened, they don't have any sheets or blankets yet. But the hunter is so desperate she's even willing to sleep on the floor. She says she can't believe she'll finally get to sleep on a bed after such a long time. Jeong suddenly remembers something her father's friend had once told her, that hunters needed sleep to replenish their mana, but the harsh dungeon environment rarely allowed for it. Her dad used to brag that he once endured a full week without rest, being an S-class hunter, but even he longed for a bed and a pillow. He must have felt exactly like this lady hunter. Jeong hands over the guest log for the woman to sign and gently asks how long she has been in the dungeon. The lady hunter replies that it has been 4 days. She also explains that she is a trainer and this is her first raid. She never imagined that fighting monsters would be this exhausting. She confesses that she couldn't sleep on the rough ground, and her teammates used to assure her that it would get better with time. But Jeong knows the truth, it never gets better. One simply gets used to it. Jeong then calls the bellboy and asks him to bring some instant coffee for the lady hunter, whose name is Kong. Kong is surprised, almost shocked, that they even have instant coffee. She asks how much it costs. Jeong smiles and assures her that it's alright, she'll be giving it to her for free. The bellboy returns with the coffee, and after drinking it, Kong wonders aloud if this is some kind of potion. Jeong tells her it's just hotel service. Kong is genuinely thankful. Jeong thinks to herself that room 303 has the best view. It's slightly larger, and from there, the sea is visible. She hopes the scenery will help wash away some of Kang's fatigue. She reflects on how meaningful it would be to provide rest for tired hunters inside this dungeon world. She gives Kong the room key, and the payment is processed through the automatic system. Jeong tells Kong that this room has the best view and wishes her a good night's rest. Kong seems truly pleased. Finally, with the check-in completed, Jeong gets her reward, 200 gold coins. She realizes she's earned 450 gold in just under 2 hours. That's approximately 4.5 million won. At this rate, she's going to become a rich young woman. She levels up and proceeds to check the cafeteria. Her heart swells with hope, thinking she might actually be able to fulfill her dream of opening a cafe. But when she sees the cafeteria, the dream crashes. It's definitely not something from this century. Still, she thinks, it's good enough for a motel. Just then, the bellboy comes running, excited like a child on Christmas morning after discovering they have a real cafeteria. He exclaims that now he'll be able to make 10 cups of coffee in a single row. He also tells Jeong that while he was escorting Kong to her room, she started to cry upon seeing the sea. He's sure Jeong deliberately gave her the best room with the best view. Jeong says nothing for a moment and then remarks that when someone is tired, sleeping with a beautiful view is the best medicine. The bellboy finds her surprisingly talented and says so. Jeong huffs, saying how could something like that even be called a talent? He responds that she has the power to validate people's feelings, and that's something he, a spirit, can never do. She ponders for a moment. If this is truly a talent, then she suddenly remembers that she received a free pass. That means she can get anything she wants from the market for free. Her eyes light up. She's already planning to get something worth millions. Let's go, besties. It's time for some serious shopping. Now, all she needs to do is find the most expensive item available. With that thought, she heads straight into the market system, determined to make the most of her free pass. Her eyes gleam with joy as she lays claim to the dragon scale armor, easily the most expensive item listed. She's practically glowing with satisfaction, already picturing herself basking in glory until the system notifies her with a cold message. She cannot purchase items from another class. Her heart sinks. All that excitement disappears in an instant. Still, she tells herself it's fine. Surely there must be something worth billions within her own class as well. She resumes her search with renewed hope and eventually finds the hotel fountain. A luxurious item and, of course, the most expensive one among her options. But her excitement is crushed again when the system denies her request. Her level is simply too low. She lets out a long sigh and tells the system to just show her items that she can buy. But everything she's shown is, frankly, mediocre. She realizes that of course it was too good to be true. No way she'd get something worth billions for free. Just as she's about to give up, she sees something called Everfresh bedding. She pauses, seriously considering it. It's not flashy or grand like a fountain or armor. But maybe this is the right thing to choose. After all, she's running a hotel now. It wouldn't be right for customers to sleep directly on the mattress. She's come this far already. Providing proper lodging for hunters is the least she can do. She nods to herself and confirms the purchase. After all, it's not just about hospitality anymore, it's how she gets paid. Now, the scene shifts to Kong. She's thrilled that she managed to enter the White Hunters Guild. Ever since she was little, this had been her dream. To her, hunters were the ones who saved people. And now, finally, she's gotten the opportunity to become one of them, the hero who protects humanity. But that had only been her naive belief. Reality hit hard. She learns the cruel truth. She only has a 10% chance to level up. In this harsh system, even a medicated C-rank hunter seems like a lost cause. Everyone says she's out of the game. Still, she clenches her fists and tells herself she can't lose hope. No matter what, she's going to make it. She had been nervous during the raid, especially because of all the rumors floating around. That nervousness led to mistake after mistake, and from there, everything spiraled downward. That's when the whispers started. People around her began to murmur. How can she call herself a hunter when she can't even take down a goblin? She's not going to make it. It hurt. Sure, it was just her first time, and she made a few mistakes. But was that enough to write her off entirely? Still, she decided to prove herself. She pushed forward and took down the goblins on her own. With heavy breaths, she called out to ask if anyone had seen her do it, but there was no response. For the first time, she truly felt the emptiness. She had done the job, but there was no one around to witness it. No cheers, no praise, just silence. She begins to question herself. Why did she even become a hunter? At the end of the day, it's just a job, not a path to heroism. She wonders if she lacks social skills, if she'll ever be able to reconnect with her teammates. Now, she just feels tired, dirty, mentally and physically drained. If she had known things would turn out like this, she thinks, she would have just taken a proper nap beforehand. All she wants right now is to lie down, eat something warm, and sleep. She starts missing her mom. And just as she thinks that the hotel appears in front of her eyes. At first, she thinks she must be hallucinating. Maybe she's so homesick that her mind is playing tricks on her. After all, a hotel in the dungeon? Ridiculous. But no, this is real. A handsome bellboy, instant coffee, and a warm room, all for just 150 gold? It feels too good to be true. She opens the door to her room, thinking that the people here are genuinely kind. Then the scent of the sea wafts into her senses. Her eyes fall upon the view, the wide ocean stretching endlessly outside her window. And suddenly, Zhang's words return to her. Sweet dreams. Kong begins to cry. She's been having constant nightmares in the dungeon. But today, for the first time, she feels like she might actually get some real sleep. She takes a hot shower, cleaning off the grime and blood. She feels refreshed and light. But then she sees a wound on her hand and panics. What if the orc's saliva was poisonous? What if she's not going to be okay? But in the next moment, she realizes even the wound is gone. A knock sounds at her door. She opens it to find Zhang standing there. Zhang apologizes for disturbing her rest, but explains that they thought it would be a good idea to bring her some extra blankets. Kong is overwhelmed with gratitude. This place truly feels magical. Even her wounds healed faster than at an A-rank hospital. And on top of that, she's being given a warm, comfortable bed all for just 150 gold. She can't help but wonder if they're running some kind of undercover charity. After a long day, Jeong plops onto her bed, satisfied with herself. She managed to earn about 450 gold in just 2 hours, and seeing Kong happy makes her feel even better. She's glad to have done something like this. Yes, everything seems good for now, but the real question is how is she going to get out of this place? She can't even charge her phone. She bets her dad's friend must be really worried about her by now. But it seems pointless to try leaving through the front door, because with her current stats, she'll get chopped down easily. She wonders if she would have a better chance if she spent all her money on armor. As sleep begins to claim her, she drifts off with a determined thought she will definitely find a way to get out of this place tomorrow. The next day, Jeong wakes up and sees a uniform lying near her bed. She wonders if the bellboy left it there. Maybe he's looking after her. After all, she was wearing a tracksuit the entire day yesterday, so it's likely he's trying to make her feel more comfortable here. She doesn't mind trying it on, it kind of makes her look hot. She thinks. Now wearing the uniform, she heads outside to search for him. There, she sees that he's sleeping. She hadn't realized that spirits could sleep too. Jeong calls out to him, waking him abruptly. Embarrassment floods his face as he realizes she caught him dozing off. The thought that she might have seen him drooling makes it even worse. Jeong suggests they have some cup noodles together. While preparing them, she mentions that they can talk informally. The bellboy seems fine with it and tells her she can call him whatever she likes. Suddenly, she starts to feel like a boss kind of stuck up. Even. The bellboy gasps as he finally notices that she's wearing the hotel uniform. Tears start forming in his eyes, overwhelmed by the moment. She had said she didn't like the hotel, but now he sees that she's getting attached to it. Jeong thinks about it more seriously. Maybe this place isn't that bad. It's too early to jump to conclusions, but perhaps not all the hungry spirits come here because of the system. If she can just get one guest per day, she might really live that YOLO life, young and rich. Most of all, she doesn't believe someone with a face like this bellboy's could ever deceive her. She tells him she's still thinking about it and will let him know in a few days. He immediately starts crying, saying he would really love to see her stay. She warns him that if he cries one more time, he gets even more terrified at her threat. Just then, Kong appears. Her eyes lock onto their cup noodles. Jeong stands up to greet her and mentions that there's no breakfast service, but she could offer her some ramen. Kong doesn't hesitate for a second and sits down to eat. She becomes teary-eyed upon seeing human food in front of her. She's so happy to see it that she starts eating without even letting it cook for 5 minutes. Kong confesses that she was out of her mind last night, but now she's starting to think clearly. She's wondering what she's going to do and how to get back. The bellboy tells her that if she goes through the revolving door, she will return to the dungeon from where she came. Hearing this, Kong flinches. Jeong assures her that she can rest a little more if she wants to, but Kong says that her mana is now fully charged. If she doesn't get back soon, she'll be scolded and punished by her guild. Jeong doesn't fully understand, so Kong explains that she was left behind because she couldn't keep up with her teammates. But Jeong believes it's the raid team's fault for not taking proper care of her. Kong admits that she doesn't get along well with her teammates and that her presence isn't important to them, so she thinks it's her fault. But Jeong insists that a hunter team is supposed to work together, they can't just leave someone behind. She tells Kong to go to the guild leader and report that she was left behind, because it's the guild's responsibility to care for its hunters. Jeong knows that the guild leader is Min-yuk, and she's confident he'll find out the truth. But Kong is worried, what if she gets kicked out for ranting? Jeong says it's better to be kicked out than to stay in a team that treats her like nothing. She asks Kong what her rank is. Kong replies that she's a C rank. Jeong points out that it's not that low, and she's sure there are many other good guilds that would want someone like her. She tells Kong to be confident in herself. Now motivated, Kong agrees. She says this is right, and she should get going. Jeong asks if she's really leaving, and Kong confirms. She says she's a decent hunter and a member of a guild, so avoiding it won't solve anything for her. Jeong feels emotional seeing how much she's grown. Kong then asks Jeong one last question, if she is a healer. She says she noticed it before too, that while showering, her wounds would get healed. It seems like Jeong is an S-rank hunter hiding here to help people. Jeong realizes that Kong has a huge misunderstanding. If Min-hyuk hears that she's an S-class healer, they will never leave her alone. But she doesn't bother to clear it up. As Kong leaves, she says she's really glad to have met Jeong and found this hotel. She hopes to see her again. Suddenly, a screen pops up, showing that the hotel has been upgraded to level 3. Jeong receives a key along with it. Someone is now banging on the door, calling out Jeong's name. It's Shim, the secretary of her father's friend, Jin-soo. Shim knows that if he returns empty-handed, Jin-soo is going to scold him again. With no choice left, he opens the door using his power. It may seem forceful, but he genuinely needs to check if Jeong is alright. However, the moment he forces it open, his punch is deflected, proof that there's a barrier or defensive ward active. Finally, Jeong steps out, asking him why he's punching her gate so early in the morning. She questions if they think she's 5 years old. And if he gets scolded by Jin-soo again, is that really her fault? Shim replies that it's true, but it would be better for her to return to her old apartment rather than live in such a small inn. Jeong scoffs at that and points out that the place is neat and clean. She tells Shim he can inform Jin-soo that she's doing fine and even got into a fight, though she instantly regrets saying that part, realizing Jin-soo will definitely make a fuss if he finds out she's living with a boy. At that moment, the bellboy appears, but this time in the form of a dog. Jeong is completely confused. Wasn't he supposed to be a spirit guy? Why is he now in dog form? The spirit explains that he can't talk with her right now because of restrictions with her spirit communication. Shim says he understands this, but he would really appreciate it if she could appear in a video call. Since Jin-soo has been pestering him non-stop for 10 straight hours, Jeong realizes it must be tough for Shim to serve as Jin-soo's secretary. She finally agrees to appear in the video call. On the screen are Jin-soo and his son, both trying to persuade her to return. They argue that there's no way she can continue living in that strange place. Jeong tells them that while it may not have working lights and it's not exactly a cafe, she's going to turn it into an inn. Jin-soo is flustered. Just yesterday she said she was going to open a cafe. Jeong calmly says that if he's really that worried, she can come visit his company again sometime. But she reminds him that she's here because her father liked this place. Jin-soo sees there's nothing more he can say. She confirms that yes, she's going to experience this place fully and will come meet him soon. He reminds her to call him if she encounters any difficulty. Now sitting with Shim, he remarks that she really resembles her father. They're both incredibly powerful. Jeong agrees, saying her father was stronger than anyone else. But for her, things are different now. As she reflects, she mentions that someone else seems to be following the same path as her father. She asks Shim who it is. He tells her it's Wian. Just a few days ago, he rose to rank 4 in the global rankings. He is one of the top hunters in South Korea and is currently ranked number 1 domestically. Other people might only know him as an S-class hunter, but Jeong remembers him for something more. What happened a year ago? Jeong had visited Jin-soo's house, carrying gifts for Suk and Yoon. Jin-soo's wife welcomed her and mentioned that Jin-soo was busy, so she should go upstairs and talk with the kids. As she walked through the house, she overheard Jin-soo scolding Wohyun. He was asking if Wohyun cared about anything other than money. He reminded him that Death Valley is the second most dangerous place after the Tower of God. His guild was just using him as a tool to make money, and he had already lost a friend, someone like a brother to him, in a previous dungeon. Jin-soo was sure Wohyun wouldn't survive if he kept going like this. He begged him to think of the people who might be waiting for him. But Wohyun coldly replied that he had no family waiting for him. Jin-soo, desperate, said that if needed, he would talk to the White Tiger Guild himself. Wohyun left, and as Jeong was also on her way out, they came face to face. Wohyun, the boy who became a rising star at the age of 19, now looked even stronger, more mature. Jeong tried to apologize, saying she didn't mean to overhear their conversation. But then she realized he might not even remember her, so there was no point. She added that she, too, had no family waiting on her. And while it might be hard to leave a place of comfort, even a baby bird must return to its nest eventually. She had no idea what she was saying. Wohyun looked at her in silence, but she ran away before he could respond. Later, news spread that he left Jin-soo's guild. There were even rumors about him being a traitor, and that he lived with his aunt and uncle who had raised him like their own son. Shim asks Jeong if she was close with Wohyun. She tells him not at all, they never even called each other by name. Curious, she wonders why Shim is asking about him. He explains that at the gathering dinner, Jeong asked Jinsu about Wohyeon's well-being. But now, he sees they were not close. Jeong admits that she doesn't like building close relationships with hunters, because there's no guarantee they'll return alive. Waiting for someone like that is too difficult. Shim starts to cry. Jeong thinks that it's okay now. She's no longer waiting for anyone anymore. After Shim leaves, she plans to take a break. But a lady arrives, greeting her and asking if she already owns a dog. The woman says she's here to inform her about a Starlight Merchant Association meeting happening today and asks if Jeong is going to attend. Jeong says yes, she'll be there. She also tells the lady that she's planning to open a hotel now. The woman responds skeptically, saying it would be a waste, there aren't many customers who come here. But Jeong simply smiles and says that there will always be some people who want a place to rest while wandering these streets. Later, we see Jeong lying on her bed, exhausted. She worked so much today that she has no energy left, and the system isn't giving her any breaks either. She wonders if, since the hotel has leveled up, her stats might have increased. Too, maybe she received some stamina points. Checking her stats, she sees that they have indeed increased. With more guests expected, she's going to need all the energy she can get. She also notices more items added to the wish list. Feeling reinvigorated, she gets ready and heads out. When she sees the bellboy, she can't help but think that there aren't many employees in the world who get this happy just seeing their boss's face. Now, everything is in motion. They are all set to begin their business. They welcome a really attractive hunter as a guest. More and more guests continue arriving, and every one of them shares the same confusion: why is there a hotel in the middle of a dungeon? Meanwhile, Jeong can't stop wondering why on earth do they have so many customers today. Let's meet Sang. He's a D-rank hunter who absolutely loves the feeling of pretending to be someone of a higher rank. He enjoys imitating A-rank hunters, strutting around in faux armor, and spending money just to tag along with high-ranking teams. It makes him feel important. However, things take a sharp turn when he decides to enter a B-rank dungeon alongside a group of C-rank hunters. Inside the dungeon, something goes terribly wrong. Sang starts barking orders at the C-rank hunters, demanding that they quickly finish off the monsters. After all, he's the one who paid them. But even the hunters he hired are at their limit. They're fed up with his arrogance, irritated that a mere D-rank has done nothing but run his mouth. In an effort to intimidate them, Sang threatens that his mother is a close friend of the association leader, implying there would be consequences if he doesn't make it back safely. The hunters, unimpressed and unmoved, leave him behind. Now alone, Sang starts to panic. He encounters a dragon and ends up crying for his mother in sheer terror. In the midst of his meltdown, he stumbles across a strange hotel. He has no idea what this place is, but in his desperation, he enters anyway. Inside, Jeong stands behind the reception desk, cool and composed. She informs the new visitor that the rate for a one-night stay is 150 gold. She asks the female hunter checking in whether she came with Sang, but the woman replies that it's her first time seeing him. Jeong finds that suspicious. It's strange to see two people from the same dungeon pretend to be strangers and then hand over so much money without hesitation. This makes her suspect the hotel's system again. Perhaps it really is designed to appear only to those who are completely drained both mentally and physically. As she watches the girl more closely, she senses something is off. Jeong allows the woman to take room 202, casually mentioning that she can even dream of bathing while sleeping because the room has a built-in projector curtain. The woman asks whether it's possible to dream of things that don't even exist in this world. Jeong confirms it with a smile but begins to wonder exactly what the woman wants to dream about. Meanwhile, Sang starts asking questions. He wants to know whether the hotel is operated by an association or some kind of system. He clearly doesn't get it, and he's testing Jeong's patience. He boasts about being a high-ranking hunter, assuming that means he doesn't have to pay. But Jeong makes it very clear if he isn't planning to pay, he can leave. Of course, Sang starts whining that the hotel is too expensive, especially since Jeong doesn't even have an official license. He takes out his camera and tries to snap pictures, threatening to report her. Jeong warns him not to take photos inside the hotel, adding that if he does, he'll be fined. He scoffs, not believing such nonsense, but right after that, the system deducts 10 gold from his account. Jeong is delighted by the result and smugly tells him that if he's not planning to stay, he should leave. With no other option, Sang reluctantly gives in and books a stay. Jeong is surprised by how many customers are arriving. It wasn't something she expected. But she starts to feel uneasy. What if guests begin spreading rumors about the hotel? Thankfully, the bellboy reassures her that all information about the hotel automatically disappears from a guest's camera or memory once they leave. That's a relief. Now that she can relax, she receives a new quest. She must make someone a VIP guest. Her first thought is to simply buy a VIP ticket and give it to someone. But before jumping to conclusions, she decides to test different hunters instead. In the meantime, she plans to upgrade the hotel little by little. Later, Sang shows up again. Jeong asks if he needs anything, and he grumbles that he's hungry. She guides him toward the cup noodles and coffee machine but informs him that the price is 10 gold. As expected, Sang starts making a scene. How dare someone charge 10 gold for a cup of ramen? However, before he can finish his rant, the system has already deducted the gold. With no choice left, he sits down and eats quietly. It suddenly occurs to Jeong that the woman in room 202 hasn't eaten anything yet. Perhaps she's too exhausted even to eat. Jeong decides to take her some food herself after all. A person needs nourishment to survive. As Jeong approaches the room, she hears shouting from inside. The woman is pleading, crying out for someone not to leave. Sang storms out of his room, annoyed by the noise. He complains loudly, grumbling that for the price he paid, there shouldn't be any disruptions. Jeong is truly irritated by this man. There's no other option but to use the master key. Jeong enters room 202 and finds the woman lost in a dream. She's watching a memory projected by the curtain. Her lover, standing before her, promising to give her a ring and telling her to think of it as him. He says he will return soon. She smiles as if it's a proposal, but now, in tears, she begs for him to come back because she hasn't given him the ring yet. Jeong gently wakes her, realizing that this curtain only shows dreams the person truly wants to see. She suspects that this particular dream is of the last time the woman saw her lover, probably right before he died. It's a painful memory, yet the woman chooses to relive it, maybe to see his face again or as a way of coping. When she wakes up, Jeong checks on her and apologizes for disturbing her rest. She also mentions, with a little humor, that the ramen seems to be wildly popular and got overbooked. The woman, now in tears, thanks her for waking her up and for the cup of noodles. Even the bellboy brought a good coffee to go with it. As the woman sees the meal, she smiles sadly. This combination, ramen and coffee, was her lover's favorite. Both of them were B-rank hunters from the Tiger White Guild. They had joined an expedition together. But before they could move to the next level of the dungeon, a terrifying creature appeared. To reduce the risk, a separate vanguard group was formed and her lover was one of those chosen. He never returned. Today, she went back with the strategy team to find the remains of the vanguard unit. But she found nothing but his ring. Seeing the ring was too much. She wanted everything to end right there. That's when she stumbled upon this hotel. Jeong asks if she can take a look at the ring. The woman agrees, handing it over. Jeong stares at it for a moment, feeling like it looks familiar. And she's right. It turns out to be an early product made by Ante Maizen, a craftswoman and former colleague of Jeong's father. Jeong has visited Maizen's store a few times and recognizes this ring as no ordinary item. This ring stores a message from the person who bought it. Curious, Jeong activates the ring to retrieve the memory embedded within. A soft light shines from the ring, and the woman sees her lover once again. In this memory, he tells her that more than anything, he just wants her to be happy. Right after this heartfelt message, the hotel quietly ranks up to level 4. Now Yoon, still wiping her tears, asks Jeong how she could tell that the ring was made by Maizen. She also asks if Jeong is a non-combat type awakener. Jeong lies, claiming that since she runs a hotel for hunters, she naturally picks up information here and there. Yoon then questions whether the hotel is affiliated with any association or the government. Jeong firmly states that it's her private business, and she's definitely self-employed. Jeong is a little surprised that Yoon believes her so easily. But she's glad she showed Yoon the ring. Now Yoon will be able to have better dreams. After sending both hunters off, it's finally time to claim her reward. She wonders if she should upgrade her cafe next. When she selects the upgrade, the cafe agrees, and she receives a new standing shelf. There's also a stack of noodle packets now. Even better, they've got a fridge so they can store and cook eggs. On top of that, the front desk skill has leveled up as well. Jeong is genuinely thrilled by how everything is falling into place. The bellboy, clearly just as excited, rushes over, thrilled by the cafe's transformation. Jeong thinks that from now on, She'll take care of cooking, while he can handle the bread and breakfast service in the morning. He enthusiastically asks what kind of egg she likes scrambled, sunny side up, or maybe a poached one. She sighs and tells him he can do whatever he wants. With everything settled, she finally heads to bed. The next morning, Jong wakes up full of passion. The bellboy urges her to eat something before the guests start arriving. She asks him for an omelette and a coffee. When he brings the omelette, he tells her to cut it in the middle. She follows through. It looks absolutely satisfying. She starts planning to buy more items to offer to her guests. She's genuinely happy that she can now provide food as well. And it'll certainly help leave a better impression about her hotel among the hunters. But her pleasant mood quickly sours. Sang is still lingering around, although now a bit more cooperative about returning. Jong informs him he can't stay here any longer. Furious, he demands to know how she dares to kick him out. He launches a fireball at her, but the attack fails to activate. Jong knows powers don't work inside the hotel, but that doesn't make her any less irritated. She's shocked at how reckless he is, casually using combat skills on someone. Sang pleads, saying if he goes back, he won't be able to return to this world again. He suspects Jong has a different kind of key that might help him escape, so he begs her to hand it over. Having had enough, Jong pulls out the master key. She's not going to tolerate this anymore. Despite his protests, the system enforces a forced checkout. Sang stands there, stunned, whining that maybe she's an S rank. Too bad for him, he gets kicked out in the worst way possible. Jong can feel that her skill has expanded again. Now she's even able to enforce a forced checkout. It's a good thing she got rid of him. As she turns around, she spots Yoon again, which makes her wonder if the girl had been standing there the whole time. Jong tries to brush it off casually, but Yoon asks if she's really not an S rank. She says that if Jong is indeed an S rank, she'd love to recruit her into the White Tiger Hunter Guild. That gives Jong pause. Now that she thinks about it, Yoon was the only B-rank hunter who wasn't included in the Vanguard group. Maybe it's because she's the youngest daughter of the White Tiger Guild leader. Jong turns her down politely. Yoon tries to tempt her with a high salary, but Jong explains that if she joins the White Tiger Guild, only their hunters will be allowed in the hotel. She built this hotel for all hunters, not just one faction. Yoon seems to understand and apologizes for being short-sighted. Jong then asks if Yoon would like to check out now. Yoon agrees, saying she's had enough rest and that she'll return whenever she feels down again. Before Yoon leaves, Jong asks if she'll be okay since the dungeon is on the 5th floor. She wants to help but remembers that only the winter key can be used for VIP customers. Yoon assures her that she'll manage just fine. Jong adds one last thing. Yoon shouldn't mention the hotel to anyone in her guild. Yoon questions if it's because the hotel is run by an S-rank management company. She admits she initially thought Jong had signed a spirit contract, but Jong doesn't explain further and instead changes the topic, giving her a simple farewell. Yoon bows in return and leaves. Jong can't help but feel like a bit of a fraud after that conversation, but the bellboy is overjoyed. He's already planning a grocery shopping trip.